nation of Raiders. It's a nation of Raiders. We a nation of Raiders.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inbounds with the Oakland Raiders. I'm Mario Bobino, and I will be sitting in for the next 2 weeks for the very talented Lorelei Suarez. And today's guest is fourth-year Raider player and also drafted in the fourth round, Keith McGill. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. How about yourself?
It's going beautiful. Thanks for taking time out so you can talk with us and share your knowledge with our viewers today. First question is, I know you're an advocate for Play 60. Why is it important for kids to go out and exercise and the importance of it?
Yeah, I think Play 60 is a great event that we host, throughout all of the NFL. And I just think it's very important for the kids to, put down the electronics, get off social media, get outside and exercise. It has to do with, interaction with other kids. It has to do with playing. It has to do with staying fit and just staying interactive with, everything around you.
Now, you're in your fourth year. Like I said, you was drafted in the fourth round, but you have a very interesting story. You're from Southern California, and you went to John Bosco, the very prominent high school. And when you was at that high school, you only didn't play football. You played both ways. You also played basketball. You played the 3 and the 4, and you also ran track. Why is it important nowadays for an athlete that's in school to participate in more than just one sport?
Yeah, you never know which sport you're going to fall in love with. At any age, at any grade, you can fall in love with a different sport. It could be because of a coach, it could be because of the actual understanding of the game, or it could be just because all your friends around you. I think it's important for everybody just to experience as many different activities as you can. That way you can just make a good judgment on what you actually love and what you can go forward on doing.
Now, what was interesting is because when you was in high school, at that famous high school, you kicked up major dust, but you ended up deciding to go to Cerritos Junior College. Now, how did and your dad went to USC? How did they pass over you for those major scholarships?
No, I had scholarships coming out of high school. I just decided to go a different route. I went to an automotive technical school, UTI, and did that for, a couple of years. And then I just decided it was time to come back for, and play some football. It's the sport that I love, the sport that I grew up playing. And I had sat out a couple of years after high school when I thought that I was, going down the right path. But I had to come back, and that's when I decided to go to junior college and went to Cerritos and started playing football again.
Now, everybody has a different, vision or journey to get into the NFL, but the junior college, why is junior? Because, some people that come out of high school and they don't get the big scholarship and they have to go to a junior college. What was the advantage of going to a junior college?
I think junior college is a big advantage. Not only are you able to make your own schedule, but you're able to actually understand the flow of the college, and it's not a university, so you're not pressured into going to meetings at 6:30 in the morning, going to study hall after practice, and doing all those things. And so you kind of get the flow. You kind of able to make your own adjustments and make your own course. And with that, also it gives you a little bit more time to kind of hone in on your craft. And that would be, my aspect, it would be football. But for anybody else, it'd be any other sport. And I just think it's a huge advantage.
So you're at Cerritos College. You kick up major dust. You end up getting Defensive Player of the Year for Southern California, and then you end up getting a scholarship to Utah. Why did you pick Utah to continue your education?
Yeah, well, I'm married. I have 3 kids. That was right when I had my first child, and it was my oldest daughter now. But I just thought that was the perfect move for me. Also they experienced all 4 seasons, and something that I've never experienced, growing up in California. And so, it was just a total different change, as far as culture for my family. And it kind of gave me time to step away, kind of become a man.
So then after Utah, then the Raiders draft you in the 4th round. But now I want to go back to the educational aspect. When you was in high school, and then when you also was at Utah, why was it very important to take your education seriously?
I mean, education for me was a big part of just my house and upbringing. Like I said earlier, my dad went to USC. He's a doctor, and so he just always told me, there's more than life than just football and just sports. And so, he installed that in me young. So going to Utah, but even before then, when I came out of high school, I wasn't able just to sit at home. I had to do something, and that's when I had made my mind up to go to UTI. And so education has been always a big part of my life. It's a big part of everybody's life. Without knowledge, you don't really have power. And so I always think that education is a huge factor.
Now, my biggest concern is sometimes you have athletes that just think they're just going to just make it straight to the pros because they're very gifted. But I try to explain to people, it's good to learn your English, math, and all the above, because you could, use that in life as life goes on. If a kid isn't really knowledgeable about certain classes that they should take, can you just give them quick advice on the certain courses that they should take so therefore you can get them ready for the world?
Yeah, Like I was told, no question is a bad question, and so if you don't know what you're gonna do, the best thing is to go to your counselors. That's what their job is, to kind of guide you guys, and that can be at the high school level, that can be at the college level, that can even be if you're interested in colleges. You can go to your counselor, ask them what are the certain requirements to getting into a certain university or a certain college that you want to go to, and then go from there. Every college, every university is going to have a different requirement, and so once you figure out what college you want to go to, that's the first step. You figure out the requirements, and then you start tackling those goals.
Now I want to talk about nutrition because a lot of kids, our student athletes, they have to eat proper things. So what are some proper meals that student athletes should eat to keep their body the way it should be?
Oh man, that's a hard one. Everybody likes different food. So the basics. Just the pyramid, the vegetables. The fruits, the correct proteins. Try to stay away from the sugars and the fatty fats, and just try to eat as healthy as possible. Like I said, everybody eats different. Everybody has a different regimen. Everybody knows what's good. If you're able to choose Subway over McDonald's, that's a perfect example. Not everybody has 30 minutes to cook, but also you can make the correct decisions.
So, two more quick questions, and one question I would like to ask is in reference to staying healthy. As athletes, prepare and you got to play football, basketball, volleyball, whatever it may be, what's the best way to keep your body fit when you're going through rigorous workouts?
The best thing to do is to stretch. Don't become stagnant, which is sitting on your butt and staying still. If you have something that's hurting you, just try to keep it moving, try to keep it iced, try to take care of your body. That's your number one investment, and without your body, you're really just another body out there without any characteristics or any talent. And so, if you're able to take care of your body, even if you're sore, even if you're bumped and bruised, it's just the more that you can do.
Now, my last question for you, like I said, this is for the student athletes, is what advice can you leave my student athletes with? Like I said, you're in your 4th year with the Raiders, which is a milestone if you ask me in the NFL, which stands for not for long is what I'm told. Yeah. So what advice can you give my student athletes that they could possibly take from this interview that they could say, I remember the pro athlete Keith was talking about you should do this, or because they really hinge on the words that you guys say. So can you leave my viewing audience with some words of wisdom?
Yeah, I would just say, honestly, don't let anybody determine who you are. You can't stress over the things that you're not in control over, but what you can control is your attitude, your mindset, and your effort. And so always, just give it your all. Some things don't always go your way, but at the same time, there's also another day. And so if you just have the right mindset, you have the right attitude, you'll be on the right road.
Well, Keith McGill, you're a stand-up guy. Thank you for taking time out to let us do this interview. Once again, that's been another edition of Inbounds with the Oakland Raiders. I'm Mario Bobino, and like I said, I'll be sitting in for Lorelei Suarez for the next week as well. So long, everybody.